This video is brought to you by Hokma Torah Center and Tutoring Services. Shalom, shalom, shalom. It is Twice Good Tuesday. Yes, friends, my name is Rachel and I'm from Hokma Torah Center and Tutoring Services. And this is Twice Good Tuesday, where we discuss a biblical Hebrew word of the week. And this week's word is Zera. Zera is seed. Yes, seed, like an orange seed or a mango seed or any type of seed. Zera. Now, Zera is first used in the book of Genesis, Bereshit 1:29, when Hashem said, "Let all the trees, the herb-bearing seed plants and the fruit-bearing trees, and let them replicate, let them reproduce after their own kind." Zera. Shalom Malhut, blessings to you. Welcome to Twice Good Tuesday. We are talking about Zera today, seed. Now, this is the first use of Zera, Genesis or Bereshit 1:29. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, when you think of seeds in general, I did mention, yes, an orange seed, yes, a mango seed, and any other seed that a fruit would bear. But did you know that you came from a seed? You are also seed. I mean, think about it. When your mother and father came together, your father deposited seed into your mom, and she incubated that seed, and it grew, and you became a representative of that seed, the union of your father's seed and your mother, and now this is you. But this was not an ordinary process. When that seed that finally won and won the prize, I should say, to fertilize that egg, that seed had to go through, had to swim, had to fight off many other seeds to win. So you are prized, you are special, so you are here. Now, the thing about seeds is that within the seed, it has everything it needs to survive, everything it needs. Yes, it needs some watering. Yes, it needs some nurturing. But within that seed, it has everything it needs. Shalom, Robert. Blessings to you. It has everything it needs. Now, when a seed is planted, it is covered in earth. I'm talking about, say, an orange seed. It's covered with earth, and it is in darkness. It is in darkness, and it thrives in that darkness, but it's content, and it receives all it needs with it from the soil, and the additional nutrients that are added, the watering that happens to that seed for it to grow. So it's like us, we being that seed, we having been created with everything it needs. Yes, Malhut, the seed is a self-contained unit, self-contained, everything it needs to procreate, to replicate after its own kind. This is why God in Genesis 1:29 said that all herb-bearing plants and fruit-bearing trees should replicate after its own kind, right? To replicate after its own kind. So it will have, that seed would have the same characteristics of the tree it comes from. It would have the same structure. But it's a self-contained unit. It would ultimately become its own tree, its own tree. So it's like us. We are this self-contained unit, and we stayed in the womb of our mother in this closed, this dark space, being fed, being by the nutrients from our mother. And when it was time to finally be birthed, we came forth. We came forth, and we are here to continue everything that was placed within that seed. I don't want you to think that, oh, yes, the seed, yes, I was born, and no, I have no other purpose. You still have purpose. Yes, you still have purpose. In fact, the mere fact that you are born and you came forth, it means now it is time to even replicate and manifest and do that purpose that was placed within your seed from before even you were born. So I'm saying, the orange seed doesn't even know that he is an orange seed. All he knows is that he needs to grow. He needs to take these nutrients and he needs to grow. But when he is finally birthed, now he says, okay, now I need some more water. Now I need to stay at the place where I can be watered, so that when my leaves come in, I can my whole self can receive that nutrients from this water that is required. That when my tree produce fruit and seeds come from that fruit, that means others, that new seed that is planted will continue to manifest after its own kind. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? Now, something else about the Zera is that in Genesis 13, God promised Abraham children, because remember when he left and after God's calling in Genesis 12, he said, okay, go to a land that I will show you. And he left with everything he had, and his wife and his nephew, but he had no children. They had no children, and they said, and at a particular time God said, okay, yes, they continue, and Abraham saying, but how are you giving me all these promises that that the nations through me will be blessed, and everything, people who I come in contact with will be blessed, and the nations will be blessed through me, and I have no seed, I have no heir to pass it on to. But God said, yes, there's a promised heir that will be born from you, that will continue that seed bearing, that process that you will begin, So, and we are beneficiaries of that replication process, that we are from this seed, as in we are seed that came from Abraham, from that covenant. We are beneficiaries of that seed. Isn't that awesome? Just as Yeshua, when he came, that he manifested and he came and he walked in that purpose that he was to walk in, and he came and said, yes, through my life, these people, everyone will know how exactly to walk in that promise that Abraham did, that faith that Abraham showed, and he will come and we will follow suit. And we will follow suit. Aren't you excited? Aren't you happy? Aren't you joyful that you are seed of Abraham and that the blessings that Abraham received follows us, follows you? Isn't it awesome? Now let me tell you one other thing about Zera, that Hebrew word for seed. It is made up of 3 Hebrew letters: Zayin, Resh, and Ayin. Now the Zayin speaks to a weapon, a double-edged weapon, right? And the Resh, that second letter, speaks to Hashem's wisdom, God's wisdom, God disseminating his wisdom into man. And then the Ayin speaks to the eyes. So you find that Zerah, for a meaning, in addition to the fact that, yes, it means seed, it means that you are a weapon that Hashem is constantly downloading his wisdom into, so that others around you can see, can perceive him, can move in their purpose. Isn't that awesome that you are God's weapon? And he does so with wisdom, in wisdom, so that everyone can see. Everyone can see. This is the beauty of the special seed that you are. That you are. And you're saying, oh, there are many seeds. I'm going back to the fact that there are many different kinds of fruits, and every kind of fruit bears the likeness of the tree from which it came. But all the trees are united in one God. One God was the ultimate creator. So you're saying, oh yes, Raquel, I'm here, and the seed that I have and that I will manifest, the features that I will manifest. Yes, but I will complement your seed, your manifestation, and Malhut Advanced seed and manifestation, and Natalie's seed and manifestation, because we're all coming together to show the glory of God. That when others see, they'll see the reflection or the benefits of that water which we are planted by. Because when we grow up, when the seeds grow up, the seeds don't stay seeds. When the seeds grow up and remain at the water, and when I say the water, this is the word that nourishes, the word that strengthens, the word that will move through the roots, through the bark, through the internal mechanism of that tree, of the bark of that tree, go in to the limbs and feed the leaves, making the food and the sunlight and everything that that tree will need to be sustained in the glorious orchard that God has created. Isn't that awesome? That you are God's seed, that you are his special seed that he planted here for such a time as this, for you to manifest his glory, for you to show his wisdom to everyone around you. Zera. This is the Hebrew word for seed. And you, my friend, good seed, good seed.